Hi everyone! I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I really appreciate the support. And if you're interested in supporting me further, you can do that by going to my Patreon or Ko-fi link. They're in the description below. In this one, I wanted to speak to you guys about a meme that I shared recently on my Instagram that I thought was really funny and really poignant actually to myself right now in this moment in time, as I am staying with my parents at this time and I am in their house and I love their house. It's so comfortable, it's very luxurious. My room is, as you can see, so comfy. It's huge and there's lots of space, lots of bright light, and there's space to do yoga. And so I'm very grateful in general for it, of course. But one of the things I do notice as an introvert is that as an INFJ, as an introvert, as an individual with social anxiety, with no desire to really mingle with individuals, even if it's her own family, I notice that when I wake up in the morning, if I could just go downstairs quickly and have no interaction with anyone else and then come back upstairs with food and sit in my room, at least for the first 4 or 5 hours of my life, when I wake up, I don't want to interact with anyone, right? And it's funny because the meme said something like, if I could just be by myself and not interact with anyone for the first 10 to 12 hours after I wake up, then I'm perfect, right? Now, of course, that's an exaggeration just to be funny, but in general, I do have this desire to have at least the first 3 to 4 to 5 hours in the morning by myself, on my own, with my own space, my own energy, my own thing, my own routine. No interaction with anyone's energy, no interaction with anyone else. Of course, that's a little bit difficult when you're living with people. That's okay. My family is very good to me and they really do take care of me. And I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning before anyone's awake. And, I spend the first 3 or 4 hours until 9 a.m. by myself in my room, doing my meditation, doing my yoga routine, doing my little bit of things. And then I go downstairs. And it's great because I get that first 4 hours and I can just be on my own. I can really relax. And then when I go downstairs, I don't get irritated or irked by people around me. Because normally if I don't get that time in the morning and I go downstairs and there's people around me talking to me, just being around me, they don't have to say anything, just their energy around me, that's irritating me. That's one of the major reasons why I used to have a very difficult time being in a relationship, especially because if you're in a relationship in Toronto or in Chiang Mai even, you're probably staying in a very tiny apartment together. The apartments are not that big. It's not like I'm living in such a huge house normally. This is just a random thing because I'm with my parents. But in general, in Toronto, downtown, or in Chiang Mai, I live in a tiny apartment, which is the size of this room, basically. Less than this, actually. And I'm in this room, and if I'm going to stay with someone there, and if we're dating, and they're going to live with me, then it's going to be horrendously tight. It's going to be just the two of us in a small space. And when I get up in the morning, they're going to be in bed next to me. And I'm not going to have that space to be by myself in the morning. And then when I go to sleep at night, they're going to be there as well. And I'm going to, again, not have that space at night, again, after a whole day. An introvert needs time to decompress. We need time by ourselves to process the day, to think about what happened, to make sure that we understand why we did this and why didn't we do that and blah, 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 blah. We process the day, right? And so we need that alone time at night as well before we go to sleep in order to process the day. Again, if you're sleeping with someone or with someone, or dating someone, then that person's there then as well. Again, you don't have the time or the space to process anything, or that's what I imagine in my head. When I was dating an extroverted person and we did live together downtown Toronto, that was one of the major issues I had with the relationship. Not with that person, not with anything to do with them. It was nothing to do with them. It was my own issue where I didn't have the space that I needed. Thankfully, I think that's one of the reasons I date night owls, is because thankfully, he would wake up really, really late. So he would wake up around noon, and I was already up at 6 or 7 at that time. And so I'd wake up early, I'd do my thing, I'd do my routine, I'd start my day, and of course he was still sleeping. So in that way, we kind of got our own space. Same thing at night. He was still awake, wide awake, when I fell asleep at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. And so I'd be able to go to bed and just be in my own space, and he'd get his own time as well, by himself, doing his thing until 2 a.m. or whenever he fell asleep. So it kind of was a good balance, and that worked out well for me. Maybe that's one of the reasons why, as I said, I date extroverted night owls. But in general, if you are an introvert right now and you are surrounded by people, or you are in quarantine with your partner or with your family, and you don't have that space to be by yourself in the morning, or you don't have that space to be by yourself in the evening, again, you're going to have to start creating that space, because we can go for maybe a few weeks without that space. Maybe 2 weeks, I would say. For me, 2 weeks max, and then I go crazy. We can go 2 weeks without it. But after that, we really do need to create some sort of space so that we can be by ourselves in the morning and can be by ourselves before we go to sleep. It's extremely important for our mental sanity. And I'm not even joking right now, because little by little, it's going to grate at you. It's going to grind you away. And eventually, you're going to hate everyone and everything. And you're going to run away and abandon everyone and door slam everyone and go into your cave for months on end. No one's going to know what happened, right? This only happens because we don't give ourselves the time and space generally on a daily basis. If we did it for ourselves daily, and if we give ourselves time daily, we don't need to door slam anyone or go into our cave, because we're getting enough time to ourselves. We're getting enough time and space to ourselves. It's when we burn out, that's when we kind of go crazy. And so I don't want you guys to burn out, especially because a lot of you, as I said, are in quarantine, are in lockdown with people, and you are not able to get that space. Find the space, find the time, get up earlier than that person perhaps, and go sit in the living room if you can, or go outside for a walk. Sometimes I'll get up early and it's quiet, everyone's asleep, and outside it's quiet too, and it's dark, and I love that space, and I'll just go outside for a walk. It's dark and it's quiet, no one's around, and I just feel so happy because I got my space, I got my time to process, to think, to be by myself. And so I really do recommend that you find the space. Go to the bathroom if that's the only place that you have, or sit on the toilet seat, by yourself, or in the bathtub by yourself, or go for a walk in the middle of the night if that's the only time that you have, or I don't know, find some space, right? Like find a closet perhaps and sit in the closet for a bit. You need that time and space on your own, because without it, introverts literally deteriorate from the inside out. It's as if it kind of chips away at us, and we become less of ourselves. We start losing ourselves in the process. We start also hating the person around us or the people around us, because we're like, they're taking away from me. They're the reason I'm like this. They're not the reason, obviously. It's because you're not taking the time to be on your own by yourself. You're not a child anymore. No one should give you the space. You have to take the space. It's your responsibility to find what is necessary for you to be a mentally sane person, and then find it and do it. If it's necessary for you to take the space to be mentally sane, then take the space. No one is going to understand that about you. No one's going to give you the space. No one's going to be like, all right, I think you need space, so here, I'm going to do this for you. No, you're going to have to do it for yourself. You're going to have to go and be like, all right, if I don't get this space, I'm going to go insane. So you're going to have to stay away from me for the first 3 hours of the day. Otherwise, I will literally kill you or kill myself, right? So you're going to have to be the one who delineates, who writes this down, who makes these boundaries, who creates these rules for you and your partner. And of course, if you've been dating for a while, they understand you. They understand that you're a little bit off and you're a little bit crazy and you need the space. They understand you're an introvert. If you're dating an introvert, they themselves probably need space as well. So figure out some rules or criteria for the both of you, because it's absolutely important that you don't go insane or, burn yourself out or lose yourself in the process, because if you do, then it's going to take a long time for you to decompress again and to come back to normal, to rejuvenate yourself, to come back from burnout, to really come back to normal again. And you don't want to take that time, because literally we don't have that much time in general, right? We have very little time in general. And then if you need more time to decompress, then your relationship is going to suffer because of it, and you're going to suffer because of it, because harmony in a relationship is extremely important to all of us. So as I said, please take the time, especially if you're in quarantine right now or in lockdown with a person and you don't have the time or space to be by yourself. Find the time and space. Find it. Find it somewhere. Find it in the middle of the night. Find it in the middle of the day. Find it in the middle of the bathroom. Find it somewhere. Find it in somewhere in your house. I'm sure you can find some space, some time to be by yourself, to decompress, to process information, to just be on your own. I sometimes just sit by myself in my room. I'm not doing anything. I'm just staring off into space. That's literally what I'm doing. And sometimes my sister will open the door and walk in, and she'll be like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm staring off into space. And that's what I need to do in that moment in time in order to really feel normal, to feel sane, to feel good about myself, to feel grounded, to feel stable, secure, safe, all that stuff that introverts need. And so as I said, please do take the time, find the time, take the time, the space to be by yourself, because that will make sure that you stay healthy during this time and not go insane. And in general, obviously, not just during the quarantine, but in general, if you are in a relationship, make sure that you find the time to be on your own, to be by yourself, to take care of yourself, of your own needs and desires, because no one else is going to do it for you. No one else understands, especially if they're an extrovert. They don't get it. They have no idea what you're talking about. They're fine being surrounded by people all day long. So for them, it's a confusing issue. So if they don't get it, they're not going to give it to you. You're going to have to find it and create it for yourself. That's what being an adult is all about. All right. All right, I hope this makes sense. I hope that this was useful to you. If you have any questions about this, please comment below and I shall do a follow-up video for this. Again, thank you so much for watching, for being on my channel, and I shall see you guys the next time around. Bye for now.